Today we're going to do the baselining at Watford Football Club. So we're going to establish the starting point on their net zero journey. We're going to look at their Scope 1, Scope 2 and Scope 3 emissions to find out what their emissions are in their base year. We're also going to carry out things like an energy audit to look for low-hanging fruit, quick wins in terms of energy saving opportunities as well. Baselining is looking at a customer and seeing where they are right now in terms of their carbon footprint and their carbon emissions. We need to know the starting point of any journey towards net zero, and it's looking at Scope 1, Scope 2 and Scope 3 emissions. Scope 3 emissions are very important. They should not be neglected because they're often the vast majority of a lot of people's emissions. So today at Watford, we're going to look at their baseline, find out where they're at, and then we can start the journey from there. So as part of the energy audit, we're going to look at plant and equipment in Watford Stadium. Behind me, there's some big air handling units, and these service all of the hospitality areas that are above me. There's about 3 levels of restaurants and kitchens up there. You can perhaps hear these air handling units are running at the minute, which is one of the first things that we can look at. Why is it running today? Because it shouldn't be running today. But as well as the operational boundaries, we're looking at optimizing the setup of these bits of equipment. We're looking at the actual equipment itself. We're looking at things like how efficient the motors are that are running the fans. Are there variable speed drives on the fans? Is there any heat recovery in their air handling unit? So there's this physically looking at the plant, as well as looking at the operational and behavioural and maintenance side of things as well. This is one example. There's obviously lots of other plant and equipment around the stadium. When we were looking at the data on ClearVUE Zero, we noticed big spikes in consumption. When we analysed where those spikes were from, they were from the heat lamps that you can see over my shoulder. These heat lamps go on the pitch to encourage the grass to grow, to keep the grass in good condition. Now, obviously, it's very important that these heat lamps are used, but they need to think about the times of day when they use these heat lamps. Electricity, depending on what contract you've got, can be a lot more expensive at certain times of the day. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's day or night when these heat lamps are on. So by the ground staff choosing when they switch these heat lamps on, it helps keep the cost down of their electricity. This was very quick and very easy to spot on ClearVUE Zero.
I think at this stage it's about really baselining where we're at to understand what our day-to-day usage is and what our match-day usage looks like as well, and then sharing that information with key stakeholders in the business. Today's the second session we've had with the forum, so this time we got more into the nitty-gritty of looking at the ClearVUE system and some of the data that comes out of that. So it was really insightful to see the energy usage in kilowatts, and then some of the carbon and tonnage of carbon that we're using, and then the cost element as well.
Net zero is fundamental to businesses these days. They need to be net zero, it needs to be on the journey to net zero. If businesses are not, their competitors will be. So fundamentally, businesses have to do this. There's pressure from their stakeholders, that might be from their consumers, it might be from their owners, it might be from their investors. It's important that customers are on the path to net zero.